from the University of Arkansas. And their project is just as interesting in terms of, boy, the amount of ground they covered and the amount of relationships and research they had to do to synthesize a project that really is a look at what happens when you find out there are a lot of nonprofits operating in a particular geographic area, in this case, Northwest Arkansas. And sometimes they're not fully aware of what one another are doing. Sometimes we're not aware of what needs need to be met by people in the local community. So welcome, University of Arkansas. And sorry, I almost stepped over you. That was just, bad placement of a slide from me.
So my name is Tanvir Mondaire, and I'm joined with Juliana Kantner. And today we are presenting on behalf of the University of Arkansas Rotaract Club. On the screen, there's a list of all of our members' names. Real quickly, we just wanted to talk about how the picture we chose represented how our team pivoted from a close-up view of one food distributor to a bird's eye view of the food security system. Our goal today is to tackle the barriers in the broader food security system.
Now, from conversations with over 30 organizations working in food insecurity, we found that the systematic gaps in the system were a lack of data regarding who the food insecure are in Northwest Arkansas, overlap in nonprofit and food delivery services, a lack of effective funding structures, and a lack of overall collaboration.
There are current efforts to alleviate these gaps. For example, there have been efforts to unite nonprofit leaders, collect and centralize information about all local food pantries, and gather specific regional data about the food insecure. Still, there is user data missing, and efforts to encourage collaboration have been unsuccessful in the long term. Because the Northwest Arkansas area is a diverse region, generalizations about the food insecure are nearly impossible, and community-specific data is necessary.
So, as a group, we made many efforts to interview community leaders in food insecurity action. With these interviews, we heard firsthand about the lack of consistent collaboration between local nonprofits working in the food system and the effects this has on services for the food insecure. We also directly heard about the difficulties many organizations face when trying to gather specific data about their users, whether those difficulties be confidentiality, a lack of resources, or a lack of volunteers and employees to gather this data.
So our club spent time interviewing various community voices in food insecurity. We spoke to the founder of Tricycle Farms, Dawn Bennett, Rachel Spencer, the director of Northwest Arkansas Giving at Walmart, and Melanie Palmer, the founder of M. Palmer Consulting and Grants, and many other people. While interviewing these various leaders, the gaps we had earlier identified were confirmed.
And we found that because there's a lack of community-focused data, solutions are implemented without consulting user needs. Important information to creating effective solutions like dietary restrictions, or the best hours to pick food up, or the preferred food for users, or preferred method of support are left out of the conversation.
Throughout our process of interviewing organizations, our Rotaract Club discovered that nonprofits working in food distribution were not collaborating enough with each other, especially with the Northwest Arkansas food pantries, and leaving some food pantries to have an excess of food, some with too little, and some to continue buying their own products when various free resources could be made available to them. A more equitable distribution of food resources is necessary. We also found that many nonprofits are left unaware of the best funding strategies to utilize for their efforts to support the community. We learned that various food pantries and organizations could share different perspectives with one another.
As a result, our proposed solution is to offer consulting services to food pantries and food nonprofits needing administrative support in terms of data collection, funding, marketing, and social media presence, as this was the most identified need throughout our many interviews. We plan to schedule trainings for our members with professionals in these fields like funding, marketing, and data collection. And our members will then each be paired with an organization and will serve as a representative for broad collaboration, reporting back to the club the needs of their specific organization and working with other members to collaborate. Our Rotaract Club has also applied to the IDEO Food Systems Challenge, and if selected, we will receive further support to start this initiative.
The users for our project were food pantries, food security nonprofits, and food distributors in Northwest Arkansas.
And the potential partners for the implementation of this project are those same food banks and food distributors who need administrative support, the professionals leading our training events, and skilled students at the U of A.
Our solution addresses the pillars of peace by promoting equitable distribution, sound business environment, and free flow of information.
Now, the measurements we will use to measure the success of our project are partner organization satisfaction, results our project leads to within organizations, such as an amount of increased funds, increase in nonprofit collaboration, and increase in specific user data.
Our project is specific in the way that it identifies key gaps in the Northwest Arkansas food security system, measurable in the way that we have already identified user data for over 20 food pantries in the area, and our project will continue to work to collect further data, attainable in the way that it identifies a clear need, and we are already communicating with professionals to conduct our program training, relevant because it is a pain point for many organizations in the food security ecosystem, and it is time bound in the way that this project will be in effect within the first semester of the next school year. And with that, that is everything we have for you guys. This is just a list of some sources. If there's any questions, we would be more than willing to answer them. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
All right, great presentation, University of Arkansas. And just a couple quick things. You know, they say nonprofit work is not something where you seek investors because there's no return on investment. And of course, that can send people into sort of a raging conversation or controversy about that, because the return on investment, of course, can be folks living healthier, better lives. But what I love about your presentation is it was like a presentation to investors. And you basically said, here's our case, here's our data, here's the story we're telling you. We're going to take this out and get people to support this consulting idea. And I want everybody to know that this team is amazing, of course, but where they started out was maybe there should be like more social media and newsletters for nonprofits. And then look where they were 8 weeks later with this project. And that is why we're so happy they actually applied for the competition called the Food Systems Game Changers Lab, which is supported by IDEO. They mentioned that, but also the Rockefeller Foundation. So go team.